Hey everybody, welcome back to this week's Dark Avenger comic book review. On time finally. First off, we are now in Marvel. We've left DC, only 3 books, and losing more fast. Secret Avengers issue 25 finally gets me to say, you know what, I think after Avengers vs. X-Men, if things don't look good, I'm probably... Phil actually mentioned this too, that he was thinking about, he was talking to me about Secret Avengers and how he feels about it. And in my opinion, after, not before, after Avengers vs. X-Men, I will most likely be dropping Secret Avengers if the story arc does not look good. I don't like the artwork. I'm sorry, it's just not my style. This page with Venom was pretty good, but other than that, the artwork just isn't really my style, so to speak. It's very blocky, very sketchy, and yeah. And in the end of this story, because this is the last part of the story, it turns out, spoiler, Ant-Man still has some connection to Father. So 2-to-1, this story is going to pick up right where it leaves off after the Avengers vs. X-Men story arc. So somebody recommended to me, I mentioned something about Avengers Academy, that Avengers Academy is the best Avenger title out there out of all the Avenger titles. Okay. You say it's the best Avenger title out there, and I'm ready to drop Secret Avengers. And Avengers vs. X-Men's going through Avengers Academy anyway. And not to mention, X-23 recently joined Avengers Academy. It's something to think about. It's something to think about. That's all I'm going to say on that. It's something to think about. So Secret Avengers 25, take it for what you want. Venom hasn't officially been inducted into the Secret Avengers yet, but he did help them get out of the situation they were in. So it kind of still leaves a question mark to Venom, even though we know he's part of the Secret Avengers, because in the Venom title it says, "Welcome to the Secret Avengers." So, it just, in the Secret Avengers title itself, they've yet to accept or deny Venom completely. Okay, first let me get this off the book. It is part of the book? Wow, that's interesting. Avengers Assemble issue 2 with the R, the blue dot on the R that I thought didn't belong on the R. It goes right back into the action with Thor and Iron Man and Black Widow and Hawkeye versus Taurus. Long fight. In the end, Taurus retreats and leaves what he was trying to steal behind. Iron Man gets knocked out. The Hulk goes looking for Captain America, and everybody reassembles on the helicarrier, and they find out what the instrument was that Taurus was trying to steal. I'm not going to spoil it. Get this book. It's pretty damn good. And not to mention, let me find a good example of artwork for you. Mark Bagley's artwork is really awesome. And yeah, Mark Bagley alone should be a reason for you guys to be getting this book. Really good. Sorry, the pages are waving. I have a fan on because it's uber hot in this room right now. I will be checking this mini-series out, by the way, Hulk Smash Avengers, just for the heck of it. The first issue. See if it's good. And here's some more example of artwork. Okay, and in the end, Gemini attacks, to be continued. I'm not sure if this is part of continuity yet, because the Hulk is acting the way that he normally does now. And they did mention the other Avengers, so obviously they're talking about the other Avengers team, so I'm guessing this does stick inside continuity a little bit, but I think it has its own entity, which is why during Avengers vs. X-Men, Avengers Assemble is not part of the lineup. It has its own story. Avengers Assemble is going to have its own story to tell, and then the other Avenger books are going to stay in continuity. So this is in continuity, but out of continuity. In the universe, out of anything that's going on majorly in the Marvel U. I would say check it out. It hasn't disappointed yet, and Mark Bagley's artwork is second to none awesome. Thor 12.1, the Mighty Thor 12.1. This issue was supposed to catch you guys up to what's been going on in Thor from issue 1 to 12. It kind of does that, but it doesn't. The whole story was his wife and oh god, Volstagg talking about the relationship, their relationship to Thor, and how Loki was always around when Thor was around, and like the whole relationship between Thor and Loki, and they're claiming that it's Loki's fault they actually start to question if it was Loki's fault why Thor got thrown out of Asgard to begin with and sent to Earth. Artwork is beautiful as always. And then the end leaves the biggest question mark of all. They say his wife actually implies that maybe they're all puppets to the new kid Loki, and Thor is one of the bigger puppets. And they each look at each other wondering, is that true? However, this cannot be leading into the next story, because in the next story it's all about Donald Blake. So, I guess in the future we'll find out if little kid Loki is actually pulling puppet strings with all of Asgard and Thor. He is the god of mischief after all, Loki. And I was just getting to like the little kid too. Man, looks like he's a runt after all, maybe. He is Loki. And Loki is not exactly a good guy. There you go with kid innocence, so to speak. Really good. Do you need it? Probably not. Not for a while anyway. This might lead into a future story, maybe at the end of the year, but not anytime soon. And it doesn't sum up what's been going on in Thor, really. However, Wolverine 304 does. Bunch of artists on this book, and this feels like a .1 book. It's Sabretooth's birthday. All of Wolverine's enemies come together to celebrate Sabretooth's birthday, and then Wolverine shows up, and there's a hoopla. And by hoopla, I also mean a huge amount of artwork from different artists. Each artist has a different page. I don't like how Sabretooth is drawn by this artist. Sorry, no. He does that. This does not look like Sabretooth at all to me. Cade Kilgore has his own page. Wolverine's now ex-girlfriend has her own page. Wolverine's daughter. There's little side stories that go on in between. First page is the beginning of Wolverine, of Sabretooth's birthday party. The next one is Wolverine. Then it goes back to Sabretooth's party. Then it goes back to Wolverine for a bit. Then it goes to Cade Kilgore. Then it goes back to Wolverine entering Sabretooth's party. Then it goes to a piece where it's Wolverine's father from an alternate universe. And it goes back to Wolverine in the birthday party. You see where this is going? Hops back and forth. Then it goes to Wolverine's now ex-girlfriend, then his daughter. Then it goes back to Wolverine at Sabretooth's party. Now, I like this artist's work. This artist's work I can live with. Then it goes right back to the stupid artwork again. I'm hoping this isn't the permanent artwork in Wolverine. So in the end, Wolverine basically walks out of the party going, well, just consider this a happy birthday from your old pal Wolverine. And he walks out leaving everybody a bloody mess. And yeah. So basically this book sums up everything that's gone on with Wolverine since issue 1 all the way through to this issue. And now we're going into a new creative team, a new creative move forward. So this basically puts a big period on everything that's gone on in Wolverine's. They also talk about the new dragon, Black Dragon, in this book. So basically every piece of Wolverine's story from when he was put in hell all the way up till this point was summed up and brought up in this book. And this is the big period to everything that's gone on up to this point. The next issue starts a fresh story arc, not even reaching out to the previous stories for a while at least. And it also sets up future stories with Cade Kilgore, Wolverine's father from an alternate universe, and everything else that's going on. Winter Soldier, issue 4. Doom and Bucky head to the UN to stop the Doombot and the Sleeper Soldier. Doom stops the Doombot. Bucky chases after the Super Soldier. Turns out the Doombot had one thing more to him that none of them knew about up until you find out in the very end of this book. And I'm not going to spoil it, but in the next issue, Scott, if you're listening, gorillas are coming back. In the next issue, more gorillas. That's what they say, at least. I don't know if that's true. I'll let you know when I read the next issue, but epic. Epic, 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 and I like the artwork in this book. And this book's artwork isn't too far off from the artwork in the Secret Avengers, but it's better. A lot better. I'm actually enjoying it a lot more. I want to try and get a better picture. I don't think I'm going to get a good picture of Bucky. There's a picture. There's something with Bucky and Doom. And I'm not going to spoil what the Doombot also had as far as information inside of him. You're just going to have to wait till the next issue to find out, because that's when we're going to be talking about it in the next issue. Really good. You guys, it's the 4th issue. You should be checking out Winter Soldier, especially if you're a Bucky fan. It's really good. The Pendulum issue, I believe, of Deadpool, the Dead series, Deadpool 53. Deadpool's finally mortal. He can't heal anymore. However, if you guys remember, Wolverine was shot with the serum too. It doesn't work on him. The serum is made specially for Deadpool. And he pisses off X-Force throughout this entire book. And he pisses off Bob. And basically, he's not thinking... First of all, I love this artwork. This artwork is awesome. I don't know why I love it so much. But I hope this artist at some point goes into X-Force. I love this artwork. I can read this book over and over again. I want to go back and get more Deadpool books if this was the artwork that was in Deadpool all this time. So he pisses off X-Force and he goes back to Bob. And Bob says, you do know I didn't kill you, so now basically I'm dead because of Tombstone. And then Deadpool's like, don't worry, I'll deal with the Tombstone. He's like, how? You forget you're mortal now. What are you going to do, protect me for the rest of your life? You just wanted to die. He's like, oh. He's like, did you ever think of anybody but yourself? And he's like, no, not until now at least. And then he's like, I think you're right, Bob. I made a mistake. And then the last page is like, the next issue, if Deadpool's gonna die, he's gonna die in the next issue because it has somebody saying, so it's decided, we killed Deadpool. And there's a lot of other stuff that happens in between. I love this series. I'm gonna stick to it even after Dead. I'm sorry. I dropped Deadpool a while ago. Wish I can go back and get some older issues. Love the artwork in this series. Hope this artist sticks around past Dead. Guys, check that out. It's 4 issues into this story arc. You can get those 4 issues, I'm positive. Scarlet Spider issue 4, book of the week. Love it. Scarlet Spider's fighting against the Guild of Assassins. You get backstory on why there's a hit on him from the Guild of Assassins. And in the end of the book, he makes a deal with the head of the Guild of Assassins. And he promises one thing: if she'll back away from him, drop the hit on the doctor, and just leave him and his friends alone. And she agrees. Enough said. A lot of other stuff that happens in here. A lot of Kane versus the Guild of Assassins, and Kane came out pretty much on top. And he's like, I can heal. In the end of the book, he's like, I can heal from a lot of things, but I can never heal from the memories of my past. And somebody finally is starting to figure out that Kane is the Scarlet Spider. Next issue starts a new story arc again, and we are now officially. The ball's officially started rolling on Scarlet Spider. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. It's a $2.99 book, guys. For real. It's in its 4th issue. You can go back and get that too. Just like Winter Soldier, just like Deadpool. All 3 started in the same month. Check them out. All of them are good. The first part to the Omega Effect. Avenging Spider-Man issue 6. It all starts here, and that's exactly what this is. A setup for what's to come. All the main characters are introduced in this book. Spidey's talking to Reed Richards, who knows that Daredevil has the Omega Drive, and tells Spidey to go to Daredevil and try to get Daredevil to give it back to Reed, because there's a bunch of people that are after Daredevil because of it. Spidey shows up, and it turns out Punisher is after Daredevil because Punisher wants the Omega Drive to take down major crime, and basically, in other words, that means kill every single person that shows up that works with major crime, because Punisher is a go-to kind of shoot 'em up, destroy, kill kind of guy. Love this entrance by Spidey. This is epic. I know you're going to be reading this, Mike, so I don't want to give too many spoilers away to you. So, a bulk of the book after Spidey's entrance is Spidey, Punisher, Punisher's girlfriend, and Daredevil versus the Red Hand. And it catches you up if you didn't read Daredevil, I believe it was 11.1. I believe it was 11.1. Let's find out in the end. No, Daredevil 10.1. It's all concluded in Daredevil 11. So after this, Daredevil, Punisher, and Spidey come up with a plan. And I'm not going to say what that plan is. You'll find out in the next issue, which is next week, because it's going to be in Punisher 10. Mike, you might want to read this, because you'll find out what the plan is. So Daredevil and his girlfriend go off to make their plan, to prepare for the operation, and Daredevil and Spidey go off their way and prepare in their own sense, and they're all going to meet up at Punisher's destination in 1 hour, and probably that's where it's going to take off in Punisher number 10, and it all concludes in Daredevil 11. So you know what? This is the perfect mini-series for me and Mike, because Mike reads Punisher, I read Daredevil and Avenging Spider-Man. So this was the perfect setup, the perfect 3 comics to do the Omega Effect in. And once this is said and done, the Omega Drive and the Daredevil comics will be abolished, and we'll be moving forward in the stories and no more links to the past. Really good. Highly recommend this issue of Avenging Spider-Man. If you're going to pick up any Avenging Spider-Man, this is definitely the book to pick up. And then in 2 months, the Avenging Spider-Man, which will conclude Ends of the Earth, is another Pendulum issue. Avenging Spider-Man is really good. It's nice Spidey team-ups. Check this series out. Really good. Mike, I'm going to leave this to you to read, because you're going to need it for the Omega Effect, and I'll leave you Daredevil when it comes out too. Conclusion of an epic series, Carnage USA by Clayton Crane. His artwork is second to none. Amazing. Okay, so Venom and Carnage lose their symbiote. So now it's just Flash Thompson versus Cletus Cassidy, and it doesn't look good for Flash at first. A lot goes on in the city where they're abolishing all the symbiote, destroying all the symbiote piece by piece. Beautiful artwork. Beautiful artwork. The Carnage symbiote doesn't go back to Cletus Cassidy. However, the Venom symbiote goes back to Venom. They put Cletus Cassidy in custody. The Carnage symbiote disappears with the secret organization group that the government sent in to collect it, and all ends bleak and sad, and Cletus Cassidy is leaving with a big smile on his face. Carnage will be back next year with another book, I'm absolutely sure. By now, 5 issues. Yeah, probably issue 1 sold out. I would just recommend waiting till next month when the trade paperback comes out, and absolutely recommend buying this. I'm sad that I missed out on Family Ties. Glad I got the hardcover. You guys will be glad if you get the hardcover to Carnage USA. It was a really good miniseries. It does leave off with kind of a, please tell me there's another story that takes place after this at some point, because yeah, we definitely need a story that takes place after this, because this isn't the end that I was looking forward to. I was looking for a more forward the end. So hopefully there'll be another the end very soon. Final book this week is The New Avengers, issue 24. And the reason I didn't put Book of the Week first was because because this is Avengers vs. X-Men. I don't think I'll be doing this all the time. I just wanted to do it for this week's. New X-Men. There is a heart. It's a heart-to-heart moment. It's one of those warm but sad moments between Luke Cage and his wife Jessica Jones and the baby. That's a huge part of this book. Actually, the book starts off where Avengers vs. X-Men 1 actually ends. But the story doesn't continue there. It goes back to the day before, where the New Avengers are rounding out what happened with the Dark Avengers, and Jessica comes back to Luke Cage, and then there's the huge moment between the two of them. And it's a sad one, because then Cap shows up at Avengers Mansion, and he tells them about the Phoenix Force is coming and we need all the Avengers. He splits the team up. Secret Avengers are going into space. The New Avengers are going to go with Cap to Utopia, and then there's going to be another group that's going to try to figure out how to contain the Phoenix Force before it even gets to Earth. And then it leads into the first part, the ending of the first part, to Avengers vs. X-Men 1. And now I guess the next issue is going to complement the Avengers vs. X-Men 2 or 3, because New Avengers also comes out bi-weekly also. So Luke Cage chooses to go with the X-Men, whereas Jessica Jones stays behind. Doesn't look like they're going to be staying together much longer, and that's sad. Sad, because, you know, when you get used to a couple, a superhero couple especially, to see the separation because of a threat by Norman Osborn and other crazies to keep their baby safe, it's real sad, because I feel bad for Luke Cage, and I guess we'll delve deeper into that after Avengers vs. X-Men now, because Avengers vs. X-Men is the main focus of all the Avenger books and all the X-Men books. So any story arc in any of the X or Avenger books are going to be put on hold at least until November. So everything now is Avengers vs. X-Men only. So I can't wait till Avengers vs. X-Men moves on in the New Avengers, and we find out what exactly is going to happen between Jessica Jones and Luke Cage. I feel bad for Luke Cage, because I know how important his family is to him, but I know how important it is to be an Avenger as well, and how he feels about Avengers Mansion. let's round out this week, and we will be caught up then, my friends. New Avengers, issue 24. Part of Avengers vs. X-Men. Really good story. One of my favorites in the Avengers series line. Carnage USA 5 of 5. If you did not pick up this series, get the trade. It was awesome. Really, really good. Avenging Spider-Man issue 6. The first part to the Omega effect. Awesome. I will be reading and reviewing Punisher this month because it's going to have something to do with the Omega effect. But Michael's still reviewing it as well, so don't worry, guys. And he'll be reviewing also Avenging Spider-Man and Daredevil. So he gets 2 extra books this month, and I only get 1. Really good. I'd highly recommend Avenging Spider-Man. It's pretty good thus far, but if you have to drop one Spider-Man book, I guess that one will be it. Scarlet Spider 4, Book of the Week. Awesome book. Where are you guys if you haven't been checking this out? DeadPool issue 53 I'm thoroughly enjoying as well, and I love the artwork. Winter Soldier issue 4, where have you been if you haven't been checking this series out? I highly recommend it. Wolverine 304 puts a big period on all the stories that have happened to Wolverine up to this point in the Wolverine title, moving forward in the next issue. Artwork, I hope, does not follow into the new story arc. Thor 12.1 is just adding to the whole relationship between Thor, the old Loki, and the new Loki, and a possible story arc to happen in the future. Avengers Assemble issue 2 is really good. Mark Bagley, its artwork is second to none. Check it out. Secret Avengers issue 25, if anything, has turned me off to Secret Avengers yet again, but I'm going to wait till at least after Avengers vs. X-Men, see what the next story arc is before I make my final decision. Green Lantern issue 8 was awesome. I would highly recommend that from DC, as well as Batman and Robin issue 8. For those of you who had your doubts about Batman and Robin, I would recommend you check this issue out, because this issue is what I knew they were going to lead into. Just didn't know how well they were going to lead into it, and they did it pretty well in my opinion. Suicide Squad issue 8 is the last Suicide Squad issue I'll be getting. I skimmed it, thus bye-bye. Infestation 2, number 2 ends Infestation completely. Not as good as number 1 in my opinion. Up to you guys if you want to check it out. Secret issue 1 I would highly recommend you guys look into. It's really good for mature readers only. Same with Saga issue 2, highly recommend, but for mature readers only. Lord of the Jungle issue 3, really good for those of you Tarzan fans. You'll be checking this out. Alabaster Wolves issue 1 of 5 for mature readers only. I would highly recommend you check it out. It's really good. See if it's your taste. And Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic War issue 4 of 5. If you're a Star Wars fan, you'll be checking it out. If not, you won't. Also, this week, Daredevil Season 1 came out. There's only one more Season 1 to go for these 4 books, for this 4-book set, and then the next Season 1s are going to be Doctor Strange. Well, first Ant-Man, then Doctor Strange, and concluding with the Hulk. Those will be at the end of 2012. I've already read Daredevil. It's sad because I actually stopped in the middle of X-Men and I read through the entire Daredevil book already. That's how good it was. So if you have to pick the Season 1 to get so far, Daredevil I would recommend. But X-Men is really good too. I just stopped reading it because I was behind on my comic books, and then I had Daredevil in front of me, and I had an extra hour, and instead of reading my comic books like I should have, I read the book, and the book's really good. I already used the free digital download code, guys. I have my own account on Marvel.com now, because too many people were messaging me for the code, so I've decided that I'm just going to keep the codes, put them on my iPod, and if I ever want to go back in time and read a book, I'll do that. This was your Dark Avengers comic book review for comics that were released on April 11, 2012. Not that many DC left, a lot of good Marvel books, some good independent books, a Marvel book that might be going out the door, and yeah. So, see you guys next week for an on-time Dark Avenger comic book review. Next week also, the Avenger Hero Clicks are slated to come out, so hopefully I'll be getting that. Plus, I did make a big order at Troll and Toad for not just clicks this time, but cards, so you'll be seeing that hopefully soon in the future, depending on if the Avenger Hero Clicks come out, because I did get something that involves the Avengers. And hopefully my comics will be on time. I did the stupid thing and I put pre-ordered Hero Clicks with the comic books, so hopefully that wasn't a mistake, but if it was, it will be the last one, I promise you guys. See you guys real soon in another video, and next week for another Dark Avengers comic book review, provided they don't get delayed because of the Hero Clicks. See you guys then.